Hello, YouTube. I just got done making a video with my daughter, my wife. My daughter's at church, so I figured it's time for another rant. It's been a while. I haven't done one of these in a while because it was tax season. I'm an accountant, so it was pretty hectic. As soon as tax season was over, I took a break for about a week. Just be able to sit and relax a little bit and get my bearings back to real life. So here it is, another video. Heard on the news this morning, guy was talking about this, I guess it's gone viral, a video of a 7-year-old in the back of a motorcycle, holding on to her dad. I haven't seen the video, but there was no mention of whether she was wearing a helmet or not. I'm sure she was. But he felt squeamish about it, and the guy on the radio did. And he said, to him, that's wrong. That's bad parenting. He's supposedly a conservative, a Republican. And I wanted to ask him, I don't think he's going to see this video because I don't have enough subscribers yet for him to see this, unless he's searching YouTube. But I wanted to ask him, who gets to draw the line on what is and is not dangerous for kids? Because you have some people out there who think any kind of touching a child is bad. Whether it's a slap on the hand for trying to touch something that's too hot or something that's not theirs. A spanking, when they do something wrong. Or in some instances, some people were brought up to say that getting hit by a switch was perfectly fine. Now, I don't know. Who gets to draw that line? I mean, there's some things that are blatantly abusive. But then there's other things that, how can you even perceive that to be abusive? Like, schools say there's no hugging. No hugs allowed. So when your school team wins the game, you're not allowed to hug each other as a form of congratulations to each other. You're caught up in the emotion, you're excited, you say, yes, yes, we did it, and you just want to hug them because you just feel so proud. The motive behind the hug determines if it's bad or not. If it's a hug of joy because you haven't seen somebody in a couple years, say it's summer vacation's over, and you finally get to meet your best friend again. Because maybe you live on opposite sides of the school boundary on who gets to go to that school. Every school has a boundary. If you live within certain distance or in these certain areas, you go to this certain school. Well, what if two best friends, the only time they get to see each other is at school, so all summer long they never saw each other. They see each other first day of school, and then they'll give each other a hug. That's not bad. Okay? It's taken as a friendship thing. That's the problem with these laws, is they don't take into account the context in which the event is happening. Okay? Now, I'm not saying beating your children to where they get broken bones, bruises, and bodily harm is right. No, that is far from right. That is so wrong. But spankings, those lawmakers that are passing these laws saying no spanking, was their life so terrible because of spanking? Now, I don't know the history, but they made it pretty good, a pretty good life for themselves if they're a politician getting to dictate what the laws are. That to me is a pretty good indication of success. And if you were spanked getting up there to the success, then that had to have contributed something towards your success. Right? But everything needs to be taken into context. Okay? I go out and I beat the hell out of somebody. Just because. That's a bad thing. But if I'm beating them up because they just attacked my child, I would think that's a good thing. Okay? So everything's got to be put into context. This kid riding on the back of a motorcycle, she had her helmet on. The father is an experienced 20-year rider. Mother's an experienced rider of motorcycles. I don't see anything wrong with it. I really don't. My dad had snowmobiles. I hung on the back of that. My uncle, who moved south of Minnesota, a couple states south of Minnesota, he never liked snowmobiles. He always thought they were dangerous. And he probably argued with my dad a couple times about me riding in the back of one of them. Or getting pulled behind one of them in an inner tube. We used to tie an inner tube to the back of it and get pulled back there. Kind of like you do with speedboats. So, who gets to draw the line? It's hard to say. I'll leave it at that. Do I spank when needed? And it's never abusive. It's enough to let her know. And when she does cry, I'm talking about my daughter, my youngest daughter here. When she does cry, it's more out of her feelings got hurt because I spanked her than because of the actual spanking itself. It's more of her feelings getting hurt. Because she realizes that she did something wrong and it made Daddy mad. Okay? I never believed in timeouts. To me, timeouts, yeah, sometimes they're warranted because then it forces her to take a breath, get out of the situation, calm it down, and carry on. But I always feel that if you do too many of it, they start using that time to think of how they can do it differently so that next time they don't get caught. You know, I always worry about that. If I ever had to do a timeout, that's what I would be thinking. Where did I go wrong? How did I get caught? Maybe that's just me. I don't know. The other thing I wanted to touch on was this bathroom issue. The NBA now is talking about removing the All-Star game from Carolina, that it's North Carolina, because of the law they just passed that said, basically, if your genitals are male, then you go into the men's room. If your genitals are female, you go into the female's room. I firmly believe that's the way it should be. Bathrooms are not by gender, they're by genetics. Genitals. Okay? Not gender. Because here's the framework we gotta think of. We shouldn't be so wrapped up in grown adults wanting to dress up and behave and feel that they are the other genetic, the other sex, if you will. We shouldn't be worried about that. Okay, adults can handle it. Adults have the mental capacity to handle situations like that. Okay? Like, if I'm at a sporting event, usually there's a long line at the women's bathroom. If a woman decided to come in and use one of the stalls in the men's room, I'm going to be an adult about it and just carry on my own business, and be like, okay, I understand. Her line is really long. She has to go. She's going to use a bathroom. She's going to use a toilet somewhere. I understand that. Adults can understand that. So here's the mind frame that politicians, companies, sports, every facet of life in America needs to think of it this way. Would you allow your 9-year-old daughter, 10-year-old daughter, preteen daughter, to use a locker room or a bathroom that you just saw teenage boys go into? Okay? Your daughter goes to school. She's a freshman. She has gym class. She goes to the locker room. Bunch of boys in both locker rooms. Is she going to feel comfortable enough to go in there and change her clothes to gym clothes? Are the boys going to be mature enough in there not to mess with her, not to stare at her as she gets undressed for gym class? That is the mindset we need to be thinking about. Adults can handle the situations of having the opposite genetic makeup going into the other bathroom. You gotta go use a toilet somewhere. But teenage boys, teenage girls, because it goes both ways. Girls will stare at guys when they're naked, and guys will stare at girls when they're naked. You gotta look at it from a teenager's point of view. Or a parent's point of view on how teenagers are. Is more precise of how I should have said it. Adolescence means you don't have the mental capacity to understand the ramifications of your actions. That is why we don't try every single teenage crime as an adult crime. That's why we have a juvenile court system and a regular court system. Because we know that there is a difference in mentality level between the ages. So, that said, I have signed the petition against Target. I refuse to use Target because I will not allow my daughter to have to use their bathroom in case there is a male in there. Because I don't want her seeing naked men, and I don't want men seeing my daughter naked. Okay? That's a straight fact. There was no protection. Because what's to stop that straight male or straight female from saying, I feel like the other gender today, and walk into the other bathroom just to get a peek, get a photo, start trying to touch, and heaven forbid, worse. Okay? These laws that allow people to use any bathroom they feel like it are opening up a can of worms for perverts, rapists, basically anybody who has a negative thought towards the other genetic structure. Okay? Bathrooms are based on sex or genetic structure, not gender. I understand the difference. Gender is what do you associate with? Do you associate more with typical girl things? Traditional, I should say not typical, but traditional girl things, like dresses and dolls? Or do you see yourself more as a male into greasy, dirty cars, playing in dirt, sports, typical, traditional, more boy things, cars, trucks, dirt, sports? Or do you see yourself as a more traditional girl things, dresses, shoes, makeup, dolls, stuff like that? Okay? That's gender. Gender is how do you feel. Do you associate more with typical girl things or typical boy things? I say typical because the lines are starting to get blurred. Because I know my daughter likes to play in the dirt and play with cars sometimes. But she also plays with the dolls. So I understand the lines get blurred. Depending on who you are and what family you come from and all that. But that's why I say traditionally. Traditionally, girls used to wear dresses and play with dolls. Boys were supposed to wear pants and play outside in the dirt. Okay? That's gender. Bathrooms are genetics. Do you have an innie or an outie at the end of your urethra? Okay? That is what it's supposed to be for. Same with the locker rooms, because all a locker room is an extension of the bathroom. To where you can get dressed. My time's almost up. Thank you for letting me rant. Remember, it's okay to disagree. If you want to leave comments, leave them below. Subscribe. And I will see you guys later.